Well, the only way is up. That is according to British Land. Its annual profits have risen by more than 8% to close to £300 million at the UK's second largest listed commercial property company. With a market capitalisation of £7.25 billion. It's invested £1.3 billion into bricks and mortar here in London and the South East, specialising in prime location properties. Its latest city skyscraper, the Cheese Grater, is but a stone's throw from where I am right now in the Gherkin. In fact, I can see it over my shoulder if I try really hard. The Cheese Grater is due to open this summer. It's 763 feet high. That makes it 150 feet higher than our very own Gherkin. British Land says that more than half of its 610,000 square feet of office space was pre-let more than a year ago. While clients relocating to the 47-storey structure include the insurance giant Aon, underwriters Amlin and the serviced office company Servcorp. Well, joining me here is Chris Grigg, who's the Chief Executive of British Land. It's good to have you here with us.
Nice to be here.
Nice set of results.
Thank you. Yeah,
rising property values obviously played a big part in bringing those up.
That's right, but equally, we've been working very hard. We've got a lot done over the course of not just the last 12 months, but also the last few years. And we feel very much it's been that combination, improving market, but our own activity, our own actions, that's made a big difference to those profits.
But you've still got a way to go when it comes to convincing the investors, because even though the share price is doing OK, you're still You've lost about half the value since the pre-crash peak.
Well, a lot's changed since then. We tend to look at it, as you can imagine, that over the last 4 or 5 years, things have been going much better. And so we've had decent share price performance over that period, and certainly over the last 12 or 18 months, so it's been good.
Well, for us here in the city, it's been very difficult to avoid the construction of the Cheese Grater, which, as I said, is just around the corner from here. But as a company, this doesn't mean that you're solely focusing on the city. So
no, it's actually, that's right. 4 or 5 years ago, we would have had substantially more than half of our London office business in the city. We've really tried to spread that out over the course of the last, as I say, 4 or 5 years. And broadly speaking, we succeeded pretty well. We're down to less than 40% in the city. Most of the rest of our London office business is spread right across the West End, and we think that's better for our shareholders in the medium term. And of course, we have a big national retail business as well.
Yeah, the national retail part is fascinating as well, because we often hear from retailers saying things are tough out there, and actually the future isn't in bricks and mortar, but your experience is suggesting otherwise.
That's right, and we've seen, certainly over the last year or 18 months, a much better sense of, from the retailers, who are obviously our big customers, that they have a much better sense of what part their bricks and mortar, or our bricks and mortar on their behalf, does play. Much clearer for them. And there's a bunch of things that are happening are pretty good. For example, we were just looking at the kind of way that people are shopping, and as you know, click and collect is becoming a bigger and bigger factor. There are almost as many parcels being delivered to shops to be collected than into people's homes. And that's good for the retailers, because it brings people into their property. It's good for us because obviously that's people using physical real estate.
It's interesting how that's changed slightly. Now, of course, we've also already mentioned your share price, and we've mentioned the fact that, things are improving, got a way to go. You've mentioned some of the risks on the horizon, including political risks. Not just the election, but Scotland as well, and what's been happening in Eastern Europe. But you're a business that really focuses ultimately on London and the South East.
Well, 60% of our business is London and the South East. The rest is in the UK. So we're very much a UK business. And actually, as you know, the UK economy's been doing better and better. That's good for us. I just think that over the period like we're going to see over the next year, there are going to be some, there are going to be some political issues that probably haven't come up for a while. And we, as a sensibly run business, we have to keep those in our minds. It's not that I expect anything bad to happen, but it's just nice to keep those things in the back of your mind.
So when you're talking specifically about things like, the Scottish referendum and what's been happening, particularly in the Ukraine situation, how will those kind of risks impact you?
I don't think there's anything in the Ukraine that would affect us or our business, unless it turns into a bigger economic problem for the EU area, because of course the UK economy is linked in that way. And so again, no near-term problem, but we just have to try and bear in mind all the risks that face us.
And we had, on the economic front, of course, the Governor of the Bank of England today standing up, giving us his assessment. Economy starting to return to normal. Interest rates are not about to rise very soon. What do you make of his assessment?
Well, I think he's in a great position to know these things better than anybody, so I take his assessment pretty seriously. From our perspective, what we've definitely seen is kind of 2 or 3 stages because, as I said, a big part of our business is in London. London economy started to move more quickly, started to move ahead. We've seen a lot of investors, international and domestic, invest in London. Now we're in a position where the rest of the economy is starting to do well, and guess what? Our business there is doing better, and more investors are coming into the rest of the market, and of course that's good for our valuation.
Not bad at all, is it? It's been good to talk to you. Thank you for joining us on Sky News Business Live. Thank you.